Today on part 5 of Do We Really Live on a Globe? We tackle line of sight. I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach on this one though, because I've literally done dozens of videos showing buildings and different objects in the distance that they tell us we shouldn't be able to see because of the curvature of the earth. And this one was an example, Chicago from 55 miles away, that I saw with my own eyes, and I could tell, unlike what they say on the news, that this was no mirage. But me telling you isn't going to do it for you. You got to go out and you got to experience this and you got to do the math yourself, because if you just believe this, you're just believing. It's an overused saying, but belief is the enemy of knowing. And I want you to know that you do not live on a curving, spinning water ball. Here's another example of the long distance photography shot of 275 miles away. And some of the things you need to ask yourself is, why are things always pointed straight up? Yeah, you might not be able to see the bottom of buildings, but there's explanations for that, like lensing and how the atmosphere can create a lens to magnify things where you're not going to be able to see the bottom. Kind of like at a certain point, you can't continue to see the sun. It's not because it's going down, it's because it's going further away. Just like I'm going further away here, and there's a lens that's stopping you from seeing endlessly. So the bottom line here is, if we live on the ball they tell us, there is a specific curve rate because they supposedly know the circumference of the earth. And that specific curve rate is supposedly 8 inches per mile squared. So if you know your distance from something and you know your elevation from something, you can compare that to what they tell us the obscured object should be. The obscured object was supposed to be 1,600 feet. And the tallest building in Chicago, right there, is only 1,400 feet tall. And believe it or not, I've even recorded the city of Charleston, South Carolina, from the city of Jacksonville, Florida, the distance of 194 miles away. And what they tell us the curve rate should be is 25,000 feet of obscured object. None of these buildings are even close to that. But here's something you need to know. The internet is so difficult to navigate and find truth in. You can't trust anything you get. So what you need to do is take the information that they provide you as truth. So, AKA, we live on a ball with a certain curve rate, and you need to compare that with your own experience. So for me, when I lived in Illinois, I drove here and I looked across and I saw Chicago with my very own eyes. And I compared that to what they said. And this is what they said: you're seeing a mirage. And well, I either need to be looking at buildings with my own eyes and believe what someone else is telling me I'm seeing, or look at building with my own eyes and know what my senses are telling me. And it's no mirage. So like I said, don't believe me. And if you want more evidence of this, go search it up. There's evidence upon evidence upon evidence. I have literally, like I said, dozens on my page, but I encourage you to go find a spot to experience far distance for yourself, because then you're not believing anyone, then you're knowing. Your soul will know what the truth is. But of course, this is just for entertainment purposes. I know I could only see Chicago from 55 miles away because light was refracting around the curvature of the earth. Entertainment only.